Okay, it's Angela with Creatively Done again. I decided to do the white pull-out shelf that's also on the IKEA desk, and just needed to take a little break before. I'll make the other one into more than one video. But this is done with Mars Black that's been mixed with Floetrol. And I have Saks Versa, believe it or not, the tempera. And I have Sargent's acrylic metallic and some bronze as well. So what I'm going to do is just cover this. I always sit here and I try to take my time, and I end up doing all this anyway. This is going to be messy. Looks like a Rorschach test. But if you're watching this and it's the first time you've seen me, thank you for joining me. And if it's not, and you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I'm really not struggling, but I am an artist that is trying to gain a presence on YouTube. As everyone knows, you have to have a lot of subscribers. It doesn't cost anything. And I do like it when other artists that I have followed for years and years and years now, I've been doing this about 2 years. So now what I'm going to do is ask them to follow me. I know they're very busy, and as you can see, I'm using suggestions that they have. The OXO omelet knife really spreads your paint out nicely. I did clean the piece of cabinetry, if you will, with alcohol. This should keep. It's a not a low use desk, but this is what I have my sewing machine on. It's my IKEA desk. I've had it for about 10 years, and I thought, oh, well, now that I'm doing this style of painting, I did the other pieces with a kind of a flame motif, if you will. And I figured, well, I'll just do the pull-out desk as well, the pull-out shelf as well. And that's what we're doing. So it'll probably be like a three-part series here. And this is the front, so I want to make sure that I get it. And of course it's white on the other side too, but I'm not really trying to do that. So it might be a little messy, but it's just for me. If this was another piece, I would have masked off the back, made sure that it stayed all nice and clean, but all I'm doing now is trying to get a layer of paint, because I had mixed all the other paints for the 3 pieces that I did before, and I had 1 whole cup of paint left. So I figured, oh boy, can't let that go to waste. First I was going to do a canvas, but then I remembered that this shelf is all pure white. So if I had done it in a marble motif, I would have just marbleized it, but I did not. This paint is a little thick. It's warm in Florida today. It's March 30th, 2021, and it's about, I don't know, 94 degrees outside. I can hardly wait for summer. However, it's cooler in here with the air conditioning going, but it's still set at 80. So anytime you think 80 is cool in Florida, you know you've been here long enough. And I got this all kind of primed, if you will, with a base coat. And now I'm going to take this cup. We have split cups that have handles, and hopefully it will, oh, a piece of something on there that I don't want. Son of a gun. Let me fix that. And I'm going to start in the center, come around, stop, and then finish up, come around, and have barely enough, just enough. I'm going to tap so I can get the colors out and I'm going to tilt this, but once again, my friends, this is heavy for me. Not complaining. I can do more than a lot of people, but it does get heavy. It really does. Now I'm going to just get some of this extra paint off, and then I will tilt it. I'm just trying to get the paints out of the cup without it looking too muddy. That looks pretty. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll take this, do the same thing on this side. You can see, even if some white comes through, it really doesn't make that much difference. Then this whole desk will match. And I'm going to tilt this if my back will let me. And I say this because the other video, which I'll have to break into pieces, is about 40 minutes long, and then I'll torch it in a minute. But let me not wear this, so I'm gonna hopefully be able to tilt this both ways. See if I can do that and not knock everything over. I'm gonna put a little bit more black paint just to help it move. And break it up a little bit. There we go. And now all I need to do is summon up all my superpowers here so I could tilt off. And what I'm going to do is I'll move this forward just a little bit so you can see it on camera. And I'm going to take the whole piece, hold it up, and man, oh man, is it nice and heavy. Go one way, stop. You might not be able to see this on camera, but I will take it the other way. You can see a lot of it. And see if I could stretch some of this out a little bit without it going all the way off. Come back this way. I'm actually hoping that I can just tilt it without getting the camera. That'll be a good thing, wouldn't it? And now I gotta go the other way because I've got way too much black here. Although I do have the paints right here, and what I can do, since I use the split cup, what you can do is just add a little more color. Nice to have the bottles that have the squeezy top. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm going to add my gold. And I'm just going to go up and around. And get some veining going in here. Go right off the canvas. This one's definitely abstract. It's not meant to be painted, it's poured. Most of the work that comes with pour painting is the prep, believe me, because the mixing and my paints are already mixed with Floetrol, a little bit of GAC, Golden's GAC 800. Said that right? I'm trying to set this down so you can see the paint moving and rolling off. And I'm going to roll it slowly. And whatever rolls off, I'm going to try to do some cabochons. And man, this is feeling heavy. Just for me. That's the front though, that'll be real pretty. And I'm gonna go off the back, if I can, without making a mess. See if I can just roll it off the back there a little. I can't even see what I'm doing. Paint's not moving too much, but it'll move a little bit. And if I was smart, I would have got my hair dryer or airbrush and pulled it off with the airbrush. Hopefully you can still see it. Okay, you can. I'm not gonna go in and tilt this tremendously. If you can't see it, my apologies. And if you can, that's fantastic. I'm going to do this kind of, you'll see the end result here in just a second, but this is kind of extreme tilting. And I'll tilt the other way too so you can see it. I'll go back off that way as well. Doesn't seem like it's heavy, but I'm not exactly a triathlon, so this is an effort for me, but it's okay. I got a great massage chair I can sit in for the rest of the night. And that will just about do it. Now we've got a center drawer that will match the rest of it. I have one more piece that I probably should have tried to, and let's not get paint all over the floor. Although here it's not that big of a deal if I get it on the floor. It's just not that big of a deal. I'm going to pull some black through over here. And maybe pick up a little of this paint right here. Oh, it looks pretty cool. And then slice it just a little bit. That white will fill, it'll fill back in, believe me. It's not too bad. Oh, that looks pretty nice. I'm trying to make it be a little more like vein-like. And since there's layers of paint underneath, when I drag my, call it a knife or you could call it a brush. That's all brushes are. Acrylic pouring doesn't mean that you don't use tools. It just means that the pour itself is the majority of the work that gets done. The majority of the activity. Yep. Try not to pull up the paint. Looks fine to me. One spot there. There we go. Oh, another little spot. But believe it or not, that will probably fill in too. The paint will settle itself and it will fill in. And I'm not sure if I got it on the sides. Let me check the sides here. Yep, pretty much got the sides. Run my finger across the bottom so it stops pulling the paint off, because it will continue to pull the paint off. Although my table is level, I just have it up on some cups, recycled cups, and this way it stops the paint from pulling. Now these beautiful colors, I can either let them go, I can run a little skewer through them, and that's what I probably will do. My hands are absolutely a mess, so I'm going to leave this here, but I wanted to torch this. Well, it's black anyway, so let me run a torch over it to see if I can burst any of the air bubbles so it doesn't leave a white mark, especially since this is a white base. I don't think any are going to come up, but you never know. The gold usually is lighter in tone. And I notice the paints that I used, not expensive, and they've held up. I do use a polyacrylic glaze when I'm done, and after they've cured for quite a while. Now I'm not going to use that. I'm going to stop doing that and just get a skewer. I think I'm just going to rinse my hands real quick, so bear with me. Bear with. Well, anyway, doing this, the whole project will be similar in color. I've done the shelves, I've done the main unit, and I have all of these cups over here that are just going to have to soak, and that I used for the main part. I like to use the skins and stuff. I learned my lesson about putting it down the sink. I don't put this down the sink. And the extra stuff just ends up becoming skins for jewelry. And I'm going to sit down and stop the video, unless you want to see this real quick, because all I'm going to do is grab a couple skewers and throw my desk all the way out of the other side. Move this over just a wee bit. There we go. Now if you can see the paint on the side here, all I'm going to do, instead of it being just one giant gold swirl through it, this will take a while to dry, but it will dry, and I could peel it off this paper and use it as skins. What a skin is dried acrylic paint. And for those of you that are new, those of you that already know, you already know what to do and how to do it. But it's easier to dip your cabochons, the glass cabochons, into the paint while it's wet, instead of waiting for it to dry. Both will work. Someone had tried putting the cabochon over wet paint, but I don't know how that works. I'll have to read that one again. But here's what I would do. I have these gorgeous colors here, and I'll show you. Well, this is completely done here. Yep, nothing else is coming off. And if I take this and I let it dry, it'll dry and give me designs. It'll take a while. Or I can take my, I do not know how I pushed that out there so far. But hey, I have the glass cabochons right here, and everything else is going to go to the ground. And these cabochons are the round ones. I have oval ones that will go in my oval settings. So let me pause if I can. Pause. Okay, so what I'm doing is I got my skewers with my tacky stuff, and I'm trying to remember the name of it, but it's blue tack. You can see it. And what I'm going to do is grab another piece of styrofoam and put the cabochons that I want to create on. Make sure it's secure. I won't do too many of them, but this will give you an idea. Put the piece of, I want to say it's called tacky glue. Someone will correct me or whatever. I'll put the name down there in the description later on. Just trying to do this so I don't make the video be too long. And what I'm going to do is make sure I have enough room so that when I dip them, I have somewhere to put them right back on this. And I recycle everything, like I said. And all I'm doing is taking, can you see anything of what I'm doing? Yeah, there you go. So you take the cabochon, you're going to put the paint down on the flat part. So you turn it over and attach this. It looks like silly putty for those of you who are old enough to remember that. I can't remember the name of it right now, but I will, and I'll post it down there. And see, as you can see, this is the best way to do it, because then when you start dipping, you can just sit there and concentrate. And you could get a lot of dipped cabochons out of just excess paint. I have to tell you, I have skins. I'll show you those. I keep them in sheet protectors. Show you just a small collection that I have right here. And I do have scads of them, but they're a little tougher, and you let them dry on the paper, and then you would peel it off, and then you know, put them, glue them on there. This is so much easier. You'll see the same designs. It doesn't change that much. You don't leave them in the paint because the paint squishes off there. These are the, let me make sure this is clean here. I just use my house dress here as a closet. I don't want them to get dirty. And these are 18 millimeter. And like I said, I turn them all with the flat side down because that's what you're going to be painting on. So you can line them all up. If you can see me doing this here, line them all up and do it like a little assembly. And if you want, I can pause the video again and get these all on here. That way it won't be too long. Be right back. I'm not sure I'm... Okay, and as you can see, I kept going with the ones for the pendants that have the 18 millimeter size, and then I have little pendants that look like little moons. So I'm going to do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of those. And I'll pause the video again. I didn't know how long the video would pause before it would shut off. But I'll do 10 more of those, and then I'll show you how I dip them. Just show you real quick on one of them, but then I have to have some place for it to go. So I will pause the video one more time, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back again, and as you can see, I've got all the cabochons lined up on the skewers. And now what I'm going to do is move things a little bit out of my way and show you how to quickly make some gorgeous, and I mean gorgeous, pieces of jewelry with your leftover paint. I have some extra, I even have a brush over here that I don't really need in there. And these were not used, but just in case, you know, get them out of the way. Line them all up. If you can see me doing this, if not, it's okay. I'm going to put the finished ones on that. Now, what I have on my one little cookie tray here is some more paint. And I'm not sure if you can see it over here, but you get some of this out of the way. So I'm going to do the long pendant ones. Please don't let that dump off. Boy, that'll really ruin my day. I worked so hard on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the cabochons, and I'm going to take it and set it in the paint, pick it up, and that is it. And you just set it somewhere carefully to dry. So I'm going to move these over to this side so I don't dump them. by accident. And see if I can figure out a way to keep this steady here. Okay, grab another one. You can see it's on the skewer. Set it in the paint. Hold it, pull it up, and that's what it looks like. Any of the extra paint, you can just peel that off once it dries. Since I have 4 of these, I'll do those first because I wanted to use this one because they're going to go in a pendant tray that is kind of like a copper, kind of a copper color. And I wanted to get the paint that had, now that didn't cover too well, so I'm going to double dip. And what doesn't look like something nice will end up being fantastic when it dries. And I'll show those in another video. So let me get this over here. I don't know if you can see this. If I hold it up close enough, you can see what the design looks like already. You can see that stuff holds it on really well too, so you don't have to worry about them falling off. And now it's just a question of however I want to put all of these. These are the little moon ones. These are for the moons. They have 2 sides. If you can see me holding that. I've got paint here, I've got paint there, I've got paint on the other side. So what I'm going to do is make sure they're sort of level and on there. And I'm going to do decide where you want it. Take a look and see if it looks, it's surprising how nice they look, even when you think you're not going to get a good design. So find an area that you like, set it in the paint, pick it up carefully. And I use recycled styrofoam from stuff that Ken has from his printers. I do make sure that there is paint all the way to the whole thing. And this goes, I'm not going to go as fast as you might think, but I'm going to pause the video again, and as I said, that's as easy as it is. Some of the other ones are the ovals, if you can see the oval, and they're the ones for a different kind of pendant, and I'll do all those at one time too. But again, I don't want that to fall in the actual painting there, so I'm gonna set that where it's a little sturdier, and it could fall on its own, but just so it doesn't. These are secure on here, and like I said, I'm going to dip, dip, dip. These are my favorite colors. So when I do stuff and I do this, if I never sold any of these, which I hope I do, or I'll donate them, I would love to wear these because they're my favorite colors. I won't show you my dress because it's probably full of paint right now, but it's basically my gold and bronze and beige, and you know, it's real easy to keep things if they don't turn out okay, you can always scrape them off. So I'm going to do a variety of these, and this is how quick it could go. The hardest part, not hard, the part that takes the longest for anything is just like cooking. It's the prep work. It doesn't take long to, well, sometimes it takes a while to bake. But like this part, I just try to find interesting places where I want to get the color that I want. And there's more colors down here. Oh, here's a couple with the gold and that'll be pretty. And I don't know if you can see that, if you can see what I'm showing you here. This is going to dry the way it's going to dry. And like I said, if you don't like them, you're not ruining anything. I normally try to get 1 or 2 that are the same. So if I don't like it for a cabochon or for a pendant, I can always use them for earrings. Put them on a setting, wire wrap them, which I've tried to learn a little bit about. And off you go. You just keep going until you're done. And I have quite a few here that I need to do. So I'm going to keep moving. Keep going. Pause the video and I'll show you a picture at the end once they're done. Be back in a bit. Record this. There we go. This should be the last portion of it. And I'm going to hold these up to the camera so you can see all the cabochons that I've done. I've got the long pendant ones. I've got the ones for the moon pendants. And I've got the ovals. I'll set these down. The painting itself will dry. The paint that's still on here and on my hand will dry. And don't forget, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. That's amore. When you dance in the street with the stars at your feet, you're in love. Bells will ring, ting-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, when you sing Isabella, Isabella. Hearts will play tippy-tippy-tay, tippy-tippy-tay, like a gay caboyella. Lucky fella. Thank you for spending the time with me. Please take time to subscribe. Leave a comment. If you're an artist, please leave your link. I will go and visit your site and subscribe as well. Your support is welcome. I am not at 1,000. I'm not even at 100, but I will be. So thank you very much for watching. This is Angela with Creatively Done. And don't forget, when you try something, you too can get something creatively done. Have a good day. See you next time.